great. Love it and wouldn't change a thing. Do it all over again. Be good if I have the brains now and start again. That'd be good. I'd be Australian champion, I think. But yeah, no, it's a passion. I love it. Back in the era, we sort of came through from like hot rods into super modifieds, and then the super modified ended up being called a super modified sprint car, and well, nowadays they're just sprint cars. So, well, these are what they call low bar, and all the early cars were all low bars. I had heaps of low bar cars right up to 96. The cars have evolved. Tyres, I think, have changed. Setup, we always get good feedback from Americans. Yeah, so it gets passed down. Like once upon a time, if you went back 20 years ago, there was certain people who were just the winners all the time, but nowadays you can't pick it. All the young guys all have good cars. They're all late model. The setups are all good. Shock absorber technology, just tyres, yeah, it's all the wings. Getting down to a fine art, and for a car with a I-beam axle, you might as well say, like it's from ancient history. The cars go very quick. It's just a passion. Once you drive an open wheeler, and these engines at the moment have 600 horsepower, but I come from the early days where we probably started off in the 70s with 350, 400 horsepower. And then as time went on, the 80s and 90s, we were up to 600. Very similar to these engines now, what they make. And then we got up into the 700s, 800s, and I've got a 410 that's got 900 plus horsepower. Yeah, and once you drive something like that, I mean, the power to weight, our power to weight is way higher than a Formula One car. The acceleration is just incredible in a sprint car. They go very fast, and they stop quick too, you know, with the aerofoil. You put the car sideways and it'll stop rapid as well. But the acceleration is something you don't forget. And when all the new guys come through, I always say to them, I say, oh, did you get a buzz? And, oh yeah, the adrenaline, she's pumping, you know, it's good for you. I love it, it keeps you young. That's why I still do it now, you know. It's just a passion you don't forget, and I'm so proud that Brian started racing with me now the last 2 years, and it's always something I wanted to do. I couldn't really afford it not long back, but I can now. So, and Brian works very hard at sponsorship, so yeah, hopefully we can keep racing for many years. '88, I won the Island Holden Classic. That was a great thing to do. Trudy Johnson, yeah, she was a model. Yeah, you can see I'm pretty slim there too. That was out Palm Cove. They were beautiful shots. It was the biggest meeting of the year in sprint cars. Yeah, they were good days, and we'd bring people up from Sydney. Sometimes we'd have the Sydney guys here would bring their cars up early in the year, and we'd fly them back and forth. 1 year, I remember our treasurer was Ray Marshall, and Ray Marshall was president, and Max Bennett was treasurer. 1 year, the club, we raised $33,000 just in airfares to bring the guys back and forth. Yeah, oh, it was just a big thing. The place was packed, and yeah, they were good memories. So acceleration down the straight's quite fast because the turns on the racetrack slow the cars down. But when you enter the turn, there's probably 2 to 3 Gs, and there's a big load on your body. Nowadays, compared to the early days, we have containment seats, they call them. Containment seats hold your body, rib breakers, hips, shoulders, and head. Plus, on the helmet, there's a harness device. That's when you roll over, keeps your head part of your body, stops head extension. We've got arm restraints to hold your arms in so they don't go out if you're unconscious when you're rolling. I can tell you different things over the years. Guys rolling over and their eyeballs coming out of their sockets. That's the impact. So, yeah. Well, it doesn't seem to matter what you drink on the night because you just perspire, you sweat heavily in the suit. And yes, you can undo it down to your waist, but yeah, I've got used to it over the years. So it probably does affect some people, but because I've been doing it so long, it's like ABC when I jump in a car. I can just drive most people's cars if they ask me to do a test drive. I can go out and just about hold it flat straight away and tell them what's wrong and right with the car. So get the setup close for them. Yeah, well, the races are only like, you're probably in the car 5 minutes max on the heats, but the heat that's coming off the engine, we're sitting right behind the engine. The exhausts are right beside us each side, so there's a lot of heat being transferred into your body. Yeah, you're cooking the suit. I've lost up to 5 kilos a night on big race meetings, weighed myself before and after, and I don't know, I've tried multiple drinks to cure cramps. You get cramps after it when you lose so much, but yeah, I've got it down to fine art nowadays, I think. I never stopped racing, but Cairns, we couldn't get numbers. The 410 class is very expensive, and hence the reason why the LS class is booming. I think we've got 22 cars now in Cairns. There'll be 15 minimum on most nights. A 410 engine is anywhere between 92,000 and 98,000. The LS3 engine, the Commodore motor basically, it's about 22 to 25,000. So there's a big difference in price. And what's more, the 410 is very expensive to maintain. You do like 15 meetings and you've got to spend another 15, 20,000 on that engine. The LS is a couple of head gaskets, throw a set of rings in and off you go again. They're very reliable. Yeah, I'm so happy that we got the numbers back and I don't have to travel south so much no more to race. So. I'd go down to Brisbane, I'd do 6 months down there and run the tracks that the club were doing. And in 2017-18, I went down to Parramatta, the old track. Now Eastern Creek is up and running now, but I actually got to race at the old track. And I was so proud of it. On the Scott Daly Challenge on the second night, I time trialled 10th, but there were 75 sprint cars there. And 10, 15 of them were Americans, so I felt pretty good. But I crashed and rolled there, of course, you know, I did everything else. But yeah, that was a good adventure. Yeah, I just find the Speedway people over the years, I'm still mates with people when I first started racing back in the 70s. And I see them from time to time, and you know, it's a great thing. Just like Sammy Walsh down in Sydney, it was good to go. When I went down to Sydney, I got to meet Sammy because I raced his dad many times. Yeah, they're fine young guys, you know, they're all coming through. So, yeah, no, it's one big family, Speedway, and all the sections seem to get on good together. No, Dad never raced.
He didn't race.
Never raced. I wanted him to jump in the race car, and I asked him many times, but he never did. But a few times he told my brother when Shane was racing back in the 70s and 80s, early 80s, we had a few drinks on a Friday night, and the next night we weren't feeling too good, and Dad made a rule: you guys will not drink the week before.
A week?
Yeah.
The whole week?
Yeah, well, it was definitely the Friday night at the time, but for many years I made it the week before myself, just to dry out. And well, not that we get drunk or nothing, but I'm just saying, just so you were switched on. Yeah, yeah, you got to have good reaction time, and I still think I'm good at that. So I've lost nothing that way. My reaction time's pretty good. I think Dad knew I was going to be a motor mechanic for starters, and he put me into race cars early because back in, oh, what year was that? Anyhow, I was young, I was like 10 years of age, and that would have been 65. He gave me a Morris Minor side valve, you know, a British car. Well, I used to drive that thing flat. Had my own little track around the back, sheds over the back here, and used to do figure eights, and yeah, I was just full of, I think he knew I was going to be a race, and when it broke, I'd fix it. So yeah, I knew from probably 8 years of age I was going to be a motor mechanic, and yeah, it's followed through into the racing. And I tell my guys, my apprentices that go through, I said, if you want to learn how to break things or fix things, you've got to race a car. So yeah, many club championships over the years. Got hundreds of trophies at home, collecting dust. But yeah, I'm still racing. I love it. Winning doesn't really matter no more to me. Just to compete, I'm happy, and to support all the young guys coming through.